my new city. My back feeling much better, I suppose. I reclaim the use of my imagination. For better or for worse, I've yet to know. But I always knew you'd be the one to understand me. I guess that's why it took so long to get things right. But suddenly I'm lost on my street, on my block. Oh, why haven't you been there for me?
Well, hello everybody. It's Basement Thoughts again. It's Sunday. And I'm still focused on sound. So we're going to move around a little bit today, so bear with me. I don't know where to start. I originally started out when I'm not a bass fan. Okay, my wife likes bass. I like bass. I just don't like that muffled bass, and I don't like the cars running by bass. Whatever that is, the distorted bass is probably it. So I had one of these already, and it was really just a combination of that silver speaker hanging up on the wall. There's 6 of those. It was a kit we bought many years ago, like in 2007, and it still worked good. I mean, is it a top quality subwoofer? No, not by any means. But anyways, it gave me what I needed to re-examine bass. Sound is, we're all looking for it. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit more. Seems like it got a little louder again. And in case you're wondering if you're new, because I did get a fairly decent bump from my channel. I always play music. I'm not really interested in anything else but sharing my experience, what I'm learning with people in the same position I'm in. I mean, I don't have endless amounts of dollars to stick into this. In fact, you're seeing the end of the amountless dollars already here. I just bought these 2 cables on the floor, these silver ones, this week. I think they were on sale for $19 a piece. They're actually 16 gauge RCA cables, twin RCA cables. I'm using one end each for the subwoofers. It works fine. So, and especially to give me the idea I need. Anyways, so I started out exploring that subwoofer, and I put it over here. So you can see that I have a tile down here because so many people were on this tile thing. I've got lots of drawbacks on tile. I'm going to tell you that right now that I notice. Okay, and it sounded really good. It made me want to delve more into it. It opened up treble. It opened up the highs. I don't know how it does that because it was just in the life cycle, and apparently that is really not doing much more than unless that little cheap subwoofer has got some real decent capacitors in there. It's really not acting more than just a little bit better than just a regular speaker. So like the rail here is built to weed out the highs and mids so that most of the lows come to it. If I said that right. If I didn't, you understand what I'm trying to say. So anyways, I went and bought the second one. I found it on Marketplace, and I waited for them to get frustrated, and I bought it, and it works fine, and it was $15, and it was enough to give me the idea of dual subs. So then I AI'd that for audio. I mean, for video, they suggested putting it up on the front wall. Originally, I had them both on the front wall, and I liked it. I liked the sound, and that's what made me go ahead and ultimately spend my last dollars on the rail. Okay, I had, if you've been following the channel, I've been I always change the speakers around. I've got them now kind of like the position where I thought they would sounded the best. But I was also trying to hide stuff that I had that I was trying to sell, but I wasn't concerned because everything that I bought was like rare, and I either fixed or desirable. And some of the stuff is never even made the market. I've never even put it on the market. But anyways, one day I got ambitious and I stored everything behind here. And you've probably seen that. You've probably seen speakers stacked up behind here on both sides. See, we'll go over here. And that's what the back side of my stereo system looks like. I got you on a stick and I really can't see what I'm showing you. And there's the picture everybody's wondering about. There's a black light back there. I was hoping it would glow and accentuate it, but it didn't. So anyways, I'm trying to race through this and I'm fumbling. I put up a video for family members that I hadn't seen for a while, and it's an important video. It's music that means something to them as a family and means something to me as part of that family, besides just being one of my all-time favorite groups, because it was probably that my brother from Vietnam, that one of my brothers, that introduced it to me. And my process is I record it down here, which, I mean, that was a stupid statement, and I'm really jamming out. I'm thinking, man, this sounds good. But the process then goes, I go upstairs and I listen to it on my Bang & Olufsen headphones, and they're wireless, just to give you a clue. And I was starting to notice a bass like fog that was happening straight in front of me. I still had center imaging, but it was like I don't have the right words in my vocabulary to describe what I was hearing. Also want to remind you again that my hearing is shot. My right ear is half bad, my left ear is a quarter bad on any given day. But I was definitely hearing something there. So I came down and I recorded it again. And I went back upstairs and I listened to it again. After I changed things around. Then I came back downstairs and I changed some things around just again. And this time I took out all the subs except for the rail. I moved I was running the Dunleavys with the Lee Sungs because the JBLs was just too much bass, I felt. And I completely disconnected those two silver ones that I told you about. And then I went back up and I listened to it again. Actually, I skipped the part. I actually took the hour and a half it takes to download it onto YouTube. And when it got up there, I left it up there for about 5 minutes and I pulled it. It just sounded, it sounded like everything was hanging in the middle. A lot like a radio, you know, not like a stereo. I mean, we're looking for that center image, but not like that. We're looking for the fullness to come out the sides. The singer should be in the center, the drummers maybe, but everything else usually is off to some side of it. So let's cut to the chase now. I sold those big speakers. There were Fishers down there, and they're big. They were fairly good sized speakers. They were probably 23 inches tall, 13 inches wide, and probably 15 inches across. So they were good sized speakers. They were bigger than the Heresies. And then on top of them were my Infinities, which were smaller, but they still added some height. So they came over the turntables. And what I found was, once I sold those, I'm thinking that the everything that's coming out of the back of the speakers was just pooling in the center and creating like a puddle instead of reflecting back to each side wall and then coming out, which is a sound I much more prefer. Now that may not be the sound you're looking for, but the topic is sound and trying to understand it, and that's always moving. That's always fluid. If you change something, which I've changed everything in the last month. Anyways, removing all that, taking the subs off the back, cleared it up enough that I was satisfied with the sound, and I put the video up. So the Moody Blues video is up there for 38 minutes, the whole album. That was recorded 4 times, by the way. So what I've come to the conclusion is I'm going to do this because that is a sound I like, and it's changed everything. I'm going to take something more on the lines of that CD holder there, or even these cheap ones here, and just put two back there in place. So I'll put one here and one here, and I'll put it this way and this way, so it reflects the sound back out to the walls. And try that. I think it's critical to the sound I have. But the other change I had is, originally I had the JBLs right next to these Dunleavys. They were right here, and that was the best I had ever heard them. But at that point, I had a couch right here, and I had another couch back there. It was a sectional, and that was the other section. So we bought that furniture, and we're still waiting for one more chair to come, because there will be another chair down here roughly the same size, but this is a high back, and the couch was not a high back. And that makes one hell of a difference too. So I'm going to put this down now so we can stop moving this here. It's just about sound, and it's my struggle with this sound. So hopefully once I get this set again, it will be a permanent setting, unless I buy different speakers, which again, I would like to get one more set of old Cornwalls, not newer. But I need something. I'm going to try something in the back there. These other 2 subs, I don't know if they'll be in play at all anymore. I just run the rel, and where it's sitting, I get a fullness in my ears, which is kind of unique to me. Usually you hear that like when you get pressure in your ears, like when you're in a plane or something. So it's filling the air. That's I think all I'm going to run. So I'm going to take the rest of this out and start patching up the areas. Pretty much like what I have. Also, I had a celebrity visit our, in my mind, a celebrity visit and comment on one of the videos, on the Rogan video. As usual, my mind goes blank, but it's Fidelity something. He's got a channel. I'll repeat it again and again, because when we're talking about channels, there's only a handful that I listen to. Volty, again, Greg is just, his personality seems like it's just like mine. He gets fed up easy with, stupid stuff. Not stupid questions, just stupid stuff, or frustrated with stuff. I listen to Paul from PS Audio. Greg is an every Sunday morning thing. I like JE Labs. If you've never gone to his channel, the guy does things. He's, from best I can figure out, an accomplished musician. But he's not following the same path. If you watch enough of his videos, you'll see that he's got bookcases of books, and he's kind of like engineering his own stuff. He's taking broken stuff and repurposing it, making it look different, because probably that's the only way he can afford to do it, or maybe that's just this artistic style. I haven't figured that out, but either way, I like listening to him, and he plays mostly jazz, so I think you would like it. This other fellow, Vladimir from Fidelity, dang, I wish I could remember the second word of his channel, but I'll spit it out over and over again. Vladimir plays in a different game, I'm going to tell you that. He's got deeper pockets than I do, but that means nothing. He's struggling for the same thing that I'm struggling for. He has a unique environment for his stereo, and if you watch him and you wait till he goes up on his little, he's got to walk down into his elk like they're kind of a basement. He's obviously in the Eastern Bloc. I'm not even sure how he's getting my videos, because I'm blocked in Russia, so I don't know where he is there, but he's getting them. But when he walks up on, like, he's got to walk into like a landing, and then he walks down like 9 steps. It's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet staircase, and it's really just a beautiful setup. But it's also reminds me how lonely this hobby is. Sharing the music with you is one thing on the internet. Having someone to express the excitement that you find when you do something, or the power when you get your speakers set up just right and the music is playing just right, and for me, I can hear perfect that day, or the best that I can. How powerful it is. It's pretty, it can be overwhelming, honestly. It's my hobby. It's something that it's for me. But I would love to share it with someone that, has the same level of exuberance that I have with it. And the closest I've ever gotten to is Vladimir. And that's only one correspondence, but he's, like I say, he's struggling for the same thing. So no matter how much you spend, you're probably always looking for it. And all it really comes to is sound. He's just got a different sound. His sound, to me, is better than my sound, and it's made me want to revisit what I'm doing here again, because I can get close. I know I can get close. But there is, if you buy the right equipment and you have the money, there is certainly a difference. But anyways, that's what's happening here, and that's everything's tore up because I sold those speakers, and it's kind of just altered the way this whole area sounds again, and so there's going to be a change. For those that have asked and wondered, Sunday is it? My wife goes to work early, so I can make some noise on Sunday, and I can go up to if I want to, if I'm really in a party mood, a whopping 90 dB, but that's a rare thing. 80 is pretty loud to me. I have found that the lower the volume, the harder I listen, and the more I hear. And it really became a thing after the carpet was put in upstairs and we were rehooking the stereo back up, and my wife was, doing the test surround thing, and she was telling me that speakers aren't working, but I could hear them, and my hearing is bad. So that kind of, delighted me. I might have a hearing problem, but I'm, still functional. I also took that hearing test on to try to do a hearing sound here. Was walking around with my meter and while I was playing test tones, and I found that once we hit 8,000 kilohertz, I'm thinking I'm saying that right, I'm not hearing anything. So if we can go up to 20,000, if a human can hear up to 20,000 kilohertz, I'm missing a whole lot. I'm missing 60%. So, but I also was able to pick up that low end a lot, and I found that goes under my category of unpleasant. Very unpleasant. I can't live with that. So we'll be working on that. That's this week's episode of the Basement Thoughts and what I'm trying to do here. So it might be cluttered for a while, and again, I'm back over 20 minutes again, and I apologize. But we'll get it cleaned up, and we'll get back to some music and finding something new to listen to. So let's finish out with a minute or so of this. This is fun.
Just a Roman candle, just a perfect apple.
See you next week.